Okay, so we're now going to get back to the aquarium project, and the one thing that had been missing from it is we had blocks for fish. We did not have fish. So I took the fish that we originally made and I added some alphas and I did some of the stuff we talked about last week to reduce the number of polys and so on. So now we want to bring him in to our Houdini project. Now, in order to, one of the issues is we're going to need to texture this. And in order to texture it with different textures, we need to tell the model that it has different areas. The way you do that in ZBrush is with polygroups, and you can see we have different polygroups here. And basically what you do, and we can see this, and you can see the polygroups here. What I'm going to do is I am going to first save this. And then I'm going to create a new document and show you what I'm talking about. Just going to be very simple. No. Okay. So what we want to do is let's just do a sphere. All right, let me switch to this. So we have our sphere here, and we want different areas to have different textures and so on. We want to break it up. So what we're going to do is, first of all, let's give it some geometry. And then let's see. We're going to... Let's do a move brush. Oh, we're not in edit yet. Alright. And so now we're in edit. We got polygons and we're going to let's just do a move brush. And make this draw size bigger. We're going to take this. I mean, right now, we don't really care. I'm just trying to do something to show you what I'm talking about here. All right. So let's say, first thing what we want to do is we're going to fix this a little bit. Let's see. Where's my geometry? And we're going to... Let's see, we don't have any, let's do some subdivisions. So we have some more, and then we're going to freeze subdivision level. We're going to do, where is Dynamesh? And we're going to bring this down to 32. And we're going to Dynamesh it. And then we're going to unfreeze the subdivision levels. And it's going to do its thing. And it should bring it back to subdivision 4. Okay, so now what we want to do is we want to make different sections here. So what we're going to do is hit Control. And we're going to turn this off, and for some reason, there we go. Let's see if there we go. I had to make it a poly mesh, and we got that, and let me check this. For some reason, that did not the way I wanted. Control. And we got that. And then we're going to go under in the tools. Do it up here. We got, let's see, we don't want this. We want polygroups. And we're going to say group mask. So that's going to now be a polygroup. And when we turn it on, I don't know if it got that. Well, let's try another area. So the idea is you do all this and you say group mask. And now let's try I think it's control. All right. Now we're going to do it again. And let's do that. And we're going to do group mask. And now you see we have 3 polygroups. Okay. So what we're going to do now is we want to export it. So what we're going to do is we're going to export it and we'll put it in, let's put it in the ZBrush stuff. ZBrush projects. And we're going to save it here. And so now we have 3 subgroups. Now let's close this. I'm going to close this now to save on memory. And we're going to go in here. This is, you can see all the groups that were brought in. So let's start this and let's file merge project. And we're going to go down to our ZBrush projects. I'm going to switch back to regular mouse here. ZBrush projects right here. And we got our, now we have presets and we have it on ZBrush. Now let me see what happens. So what should happen is, you can see we have all our groups, and you can see there are ones with the, so it gives you a little bit more, let's bring this up. Whatever we got here, I have no idea. But let's, you know what, I'm going to do this because I had some problems. Redshift was being a little fussy because I have so much stuff going on. Octane render. Let's go to Octane here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up, just put 3 different materials on. And we'll just put it on the head groups here. So we got, where do we have here? Plus library. So let's do brass hammered. And we're going to stick it on this one. And then we're going to do silver, matte. And we're going to stick it on this one. And there should be one more group that we've got going on here. Let's see if there's that 3rd group. We have, let's try sorting it by we can sort it. Let's see what happens when we render it. Now, obviously, see if we can get something. And you can see, well, that you got different, let's see something. I'm going to put a light in here, just so we have a something. And let's put another light. Let's do octane daylight. That, there we go. So you can see we have some light here. It looks kind of weird, but for some reason there's 527 and 48. It looks like it only brought through 2 groups. And the rest was ungrouped, which makes sense. So let's try something totally different on there for, oh, we put on redshift materials, not octane materials. So let's do, let's put this on. Whoops. Move this up all the way. That makes sense, because we only did create 2 groups, so the rest of it was not grouped. So what we should be able to see, if we put it here, in general, see if we, what we get. I don't think this daylight's working so well. Let's get rid of that. And what are we, okay, so we have the target tag, and we have the target object. So let's put this in here and see what happens. Are we going to get anything? Okay, for some reason it's not showing it. And for some reason it is not giving us enough light here. So what I'm going to do here, since I have the plus library up, is I'm going to do just bring a Pro Studio light in. Let's see. I'm going to bring this in. So we got this tag here. So we're going to do a, let's see, extensions, alright, we got this tag here, and on this main, we should have a texture and a file. So we're going to bring the file up into here. And we're going to select what we should do is we should now have some decent light. It could be a memory thing. But the idea is you should have the different colors on here. Now, that's how you're going to do that. Now, how do you bring it in? This is, I obviously have too much going on, so let's close this down. No, I don't want to save it. I don't want to save this either. Let's go straight to Houdini. So we have, just like we had the two boxes, we now have the two fish. And let's look at them. They are going to something in the object level, which is our, if you can see, these two. This one I'm not using. This is the old one. But this is the one I'm using here. And this is the one I got here. And if you look, this is the old one. And I had you have to, with Lundix, they have to be unpacked. I'm going to get rid of that. We got on material, so we have a very simple color. We're using the group. And then this transform gets it the right size. In this case, we need to make it, this transform also had the animation and then the output. And it's the same thing for the other one. So what's going to happen is, let's see if it will actually print it. Open render view. It may not because of all the memory. Well, it's doing something now. And you can see I got notice the heads are white because I haven't put a texture on the fins are white because I haven't put a texture on them. So the idea is I can then color everything different. The animation's there. Essentially, the animation we did for the challenge, which basically using the character object for a fish, does the wiggling part of the fish's body, wiggling. And then, of course, use keyframes to animate them going around the tank. So what's left to do? First of all, we have to finish texturing the fish. That's something that has to happen. The other thing we have to do here is add some plants. And I think I want to put some kind of background, because right now the background there's no background. So it looks kind of just sitting there. But so let's talk what we've learned this week. Showed you how to use polygroups in ZBrush to get our different groups. In this case, they come in as groups. I don't know if I showed you that. I think I did. But let's look at this. If you look at this file and you look at the If you look at this file, you can see it has 3 primitive groups. So this big one is the body, this is the fins, and this group here is the eyes. And that's how we get our, this is how we're going to be able to texture things with different areas of the fish with different textures. So it's equivalent to, in cinema, when you do a selection, save selection, gives you the same sort of thing. And so we've seen how we can use the primitive groups, the polygroups in ZBrush to get different areas separated, and whether you bring them into Houdini or Cinema, you can then texture things differently. Saw how I brought the fish in this case in OBJ. I had some issues with the grouping in Alembic, so I went with the default in ZBrush, which is OBJ, which is fine because there's no animation or anything in the actual file, like, and so we're not concerned. Now, one thing I haven't double checked, there could be I'm trying to think where I'm getting where the wiggling is coming from. So that, I have to check that, because maybe that got lost in this, and I'm going to have to go back. And what I would have to do is go back with that object file and then do and then just replace the, just do the binding again. Use the character object, the character object in Cinema to recreate what we have, recreate the animation. So that's something that may have to be done again. I just am thinking about that the object probably doesn't have that character animation. You have to go through Cinema and animate it there. But then once you have your object, you can bring it in. In this case, I brought it in as an object file. You can bring it in as an Olympic. You can then stick the material based on the group that you get, and then do the transform, and that'll handle the moving across and so on. So hopefully you've learned, this has been helpful, especially if you want to take models that you want to texture differently from ZBrush and bring them into Cinema or Houdini or some other software. So anyway, I will speak to you next time. Take care.